Now this is one of my favorite chapters here, only because it hopefully will give people an understanding of where they are in certain areas of their life now. And because I hear so often, first of all, I've heard it from me, things that I would call a rationalization or an explanation, and it's really a rationalization or an excuse. And I've heard it from me. And so that this is why it was so interesting to me, because as I was writing some of this stuff, I said, you know what, I say that all the time. And sometimes I try to skirt around me, but I couldn't, do that and be at least straightforward. But the fact of the matter is that I think a large majority of people are driven by their problems. If we be honest and truthful, we let our problems drive us. And how do I know that? I know that because our moods are impacted negatively by materials. Bingo, you're driven by your problem. Because if God is your source, you will not have a change of mood because some enemy comes in your space, or because you don't have enough money, or because you're not living where you want to live, or you're not driving what you want to drive, or you're not dating who you want to date. If that affects your mood, and it's hard work not to, you don't just walk into a promise-driven life. Because if you could, then all of Scripture would have been just about that. But you notice that everybody in Israel was afraid of Goliath. Everybody. That's a metaphor, you see? Except for one. And that tells us how many people are living promise-driven lives. Because David stepped to him just like a promise-driven person. He stepped to him not with sword and shield, but in the name of the one who is, and that gives the promise. And that's so that David is the reason that story is in there is so that we can learn to behave like David, not like the rest of the country. So that we should be recognizably different. We shouldn't be like the rest of America, or the rest of African Americans, or the rest of Hispanics, or the rest of whatever of whites. We shouldn't be that. We should be different. We should stand out. We should be making the difference that we were born to make. And that's what a promise-driven person is. A promise-driven person is always distinguishable because they stand out. Am I clear?
Yeah.
All right, so problems, anything that requires spiritual, mental, physical effort, energy, and work to handle or overcome, that's a problem. A problem-driven life is always reactive by definition. It's always so if you live a problem-driven life, you are characteristically and always behind. You are always behind the curve when you live a problem-driven life, because problem-driven life is always reactive. You're always reacting to a problem rather than being out in front. Problem-driven life focuses on its pain, its hardship, trial, trouble, difficulty. And you can recognize problem-driven people because they're always talking about their problems. It's not that they go away if you don't talk about them, but if you always talk about them, you grow them. And I've been in 50 billion trillion meetings in my life, and you have been in 49 billion trillion. We've all been in more meetings than we can stand. And if you ever come together in a meeting, most of our meetings spend too much time on what? You go to any city council, any board of education, in any city on earth, and you will find, or any organizational meeting on earth, and you will find characteristically that the predominant amount of time is spent on the problem. And you wonder why? Because the solution is hard. But we're comfortable with the problem. And that's by definition, we can never get out of a problem by living that way. A problem-driven environment is one where everybody's concern is me, mine, and mine. A problem-driven person is one whose concern is me, mine, and mine. And you'll find that throughout Scripture, where everybody's focus is, where Jonah's focus was himself, not God's plan. The children of Israel was Their focus was the problem that they were gonna face in the world. That we can't beat those people. They're too big, and they never fought them. They just looked big.